And news just coming in, India's hockey coach Terry Walsh has resigned. He's heading back home. He's having a press conference. Negotiations have failed. Let's listen in.
The foreign coaches and the domestic coaches, I believe strongly that the domestic coaches should be receiving more salary than they do. I really believe that, and I'd fight for that. It's important. It's important that they're brought along that way, and I think that you're seeing reflections of that inside the Hockey India League with reference to the way the players are now being compensated from India, not just the foreign players.
Mr. Uthman, Terry is just one of the foreign people in this entire Hockey India staff. Do you feel that if Sai agrees to his proposals or requests, whatever, do you think there would be other people who would start demanding the same, and it would be a headache for you, being the high performance director, to manage the whole thing?
I didn't speak with them about it yet, but I can expect some of these other coaches to come along as well, of course.
What is the impact of this whole episode on the health of Indian hockey?
Well, hopefully it's a good one on the long term, because that's what we're here for, and that's also what Terry clearly tried to mention.
And in short term?
Sorry?
In the short term? Yeah,
well, I'm not sure about it. In the short term, how it will affect the group and the team, I must say. Before we left for Australia, it came out that Terry resigned, and then we said very clear as a group, guys, we don't accept any distractions. We are in a certain direction, and we will continue, and that is still the message. Terry called it a hurdle, and which we have to take. And of course, it's always curious to see how the group will cope with this situation. This is a new one for everyone. But hopefully, the team again shows how powerful they are as a team, because I really feel they are.
Your contract expires tomorrow, coach. So you obviously will not be the former Indian hockey coach till the time we don't make up a decision. But we can say that you're not quitting right now. You're not giving up on thinking about taking up coaching Indian hockey team.
It's in a release that I've said. Basically, I'm officially not the Indian national coach at the moment. All right.
You're not quitting the job per se.
I'm looking at trying to make this work. That's the objective.
Coach, there have also been reports that Hockey India was supposed to submit a fresh proposal once the previous one got over since you have resigned, and there has been no proposal from Hockey India as such on the whole issue. Would you like to say something on that?
I don't think that's accurate. I think that the proposal that comes in my situation is one that comes from Sai, and that's the piece. It's a combination of work between Sai and Hockey India, and I think that that's the piece that's coming.
When do you expect that contract to land with you before you can?
I think the key points in that I need to see very, very quickly within the next 24, 48 hours.
You already have that?
I don't.
Already got a copy of that?
No.
So you expect it in the next 24
We've discussed it, and so I want those.
Get any assurance that within 24, 48 hours you have a contract or something, the proposal?
Yeah, I have every confidence that that'll happen.
And you said just now that yesterday you talked, you had one with the players about your future. What was the reaction of the players?
It was this morning.
This morning, okay.
And it was one of, and maybe Roland can add to this from a slightly different perspective. Yeah, they were quite shocked. They've been waiting very patiently, I might say. I've been really, really impressed with the way that they've handled what is a very difficult situation. And as Roland said, before we went to Perth, I spoke to them about what was going on, and I indicated to them that exactly what was happening would be told to them every time it happened, before anyone else would find out, and that's the way we've been working.
Which there has also been reports of some kind of friction between your request for additional support staff, 3 or 4 people that you have wanted to be with you, and there has been a problem with that also. Do you think that has also been sorted out?
That is not a request at all to do with this team. It's part one of one of the questions that was asked earlier, which is completely untrue. That is to do with the actual bigger picture. It's not to do with this team, and it's not to do with Hockey India specific. It's to do with sport in general. So I have no desire to bring anybody specifically, and indeed any of those discussions would be had with Roland, and they're the things that create problems, not solve problems, by doing that outside the high performance group.
Before you go to Australia, will you have one final meeting with the team on the field as coach?
I wouldn't have after this morning, but these are the things that Roland and I will talk about immediately after this. So remember, all of this has happened in the last few hours.
Officially you have resigned?
Mm-hmm.
Would you also have a final meeting with Dr. Batra before you leave?
Dr. Batra is away for the next 2 days, but I spoke with him this morning.
Mr. Aldrich, what are your views? Does this sort of arrangement work when you have your coach, sitting somewhere in Perth and the team is training here?
Well, it's very simple. There are certain demands that we want the coach to be in India, and there are certain periods that you can do work anywhere in the world. Yeah. Let's give you a very simple example. Coaches do a lot of work on video analysis. For video analysis, you need footage, you need a screen, and you need a software program. Tell me, do you need to do that in DLTA, or can you do that in person?
Have you conveyed the same to Hockey India as well?
Yes. So it's a number of things in the involvement of Terry. It's about practical things like training sessions, competition, involvement in our under-21 program, involvement in coach development, involving in national championships. That you can't do from Australia. That's very simple. But examples I gave you, or making a periodization plan, or, well, there are so many other things you can do. So we have to look into the total program, and there, where the space is, I have no objection at all for Terry to go.
Okay, so we can safely say that you feel that Terry is justified when he says that I want to work from
Terry Walsh, his contract runs out tomorrow. It expires tomorrow. Today he says talks have broken down. Headlines today. Shivani Gupta now joins us with the latest. Shivani, he wanted more say in decision making. He wanted more family time. Where did the talks break down, and is this a point of no return?
Well, it's looking like it could well be a point of no return, because negotiations have been going on for a week. In fact, he had quit a month ago. He had given a 1-month notice. So if in all of this time they haven't been able to come to a conclusion, then therefore they're clearly sticking points or deal breakers between both parties. The main bone of contention was that there were two things. Terry Walsh wanted a freer hand in running Indian hockey team. He wanted decisions to be taken quicker. He wanted certain people to be made in charge, and that clearly was being opposed by Hockey India. And secondly, he had wanted that when he's away from to Australia for 120 days in the year, that things do not shut down in India, and he should be able to keep an eye on the team and direct whatever training he needs from Australia. These were the two crucial points. Of course, in that press conference, he's also said that yes, I do want a pay hike. I have nothing to hide on that regard. I'm not a mercenary, he says. So lots of issues here. Okay. And it seems that there hasn't been many of his demands that have been met. Even a couple of days ago, Terry Walsh had clearly told the media that if his demands are not met, he will be leaving. And now, huge setback coming in for Indian hockey, because despite a month-long period of negotiations, Terry Walsh is now returning because his contract expires tomorrow. And that leaves everything in a limbo with the Champions League coming up in India. And, you know, with Terry Walsh showing the results that he was, and who knows whether he's going to be able to come back from Australia. So huge pressure now on both Hockey India and Sai, whether they're going to be able to bring him back. He
in fact,
left
he's been targeting Hockey India more than Sai. He says the government and Sai have been rather responsive but not Hockey India. And he's the man who led Team India in hockey to its first Asian gold in 16 years. Do we want him or do we not? That remains the question. 6 hours of talks yesterday, they broke down or they didn't have any positive result. Keep tracking that story, Shivani. I will come back to you for more.